So with so many infamous and powerful crews sailing the seas of One Piece, I thought it'd be fun to go through and take individual characters from the series and use them to build the world's most overpowered crew. A crew so strong that even Emu, the gorosei, and the entire world would fear above all others. For this, we'll of course need a crew of only the best, brightest, and of course the strongest. That means we'll be going through and taking some of One Piece's legendary all-time greats along with some of the newer but just as impressive pirates. Some will come from past generations and some will come from the worst generation. And on this incredible crew, we will of course need a doctor, a cook, a navigator, and a captain to lead them all. And the captain we have selected is so unique and interesting, you can't help but follow and be inspired by him. And no, it is most definitely not Luffy, but he was definitely among the captains that made it incredibly difficult to make this final decision. Because in One Piece you have captains like Luffy, Shanks, Kaido, and many more, who are just as strong and as interesting as all the others. So who could you possibly take to run the strongest crew to ever exist? Well, after being stuck for quite some time between Roger, Whitebeard, and Shanks, I decided the first pirate to ever exist would make for an incredibly interesting pick. So I went with Joy Boy as the captain of this incredible crew. Because while we may not have much information on him, we know one thing is for sure, and that is that Emu was so scared of him and his abilities that she sent all 5 gorosei to take down Luffy in his Nika form. But now, as we all know, every captain needs his right-hand man, his first mate, who, following the story of One Piece, must also be a swordsman of incredible power. So who do we take? Well, right off the bat, I thought, oh, easy. We'll take Mihawk, you know, the world's greatest swordsman. He'd be perfect for the position, right? No. For you see, Mihawk wouldn't actually follow anyone. Hell, he doesn't even want to run with the likes of Buggy and Crocodile right now. He only does so because it suits his current needs. Instead, I decided to go with someone far more surprising. Someone with incredible hockey power and sword capabilities. And no, I'm not talking about Zoro. The person I speak of is someone who once ran with the Pirate King himself. It's red-haired Shanks. Shanks joins our crew as Joy Boy's first mate, and let's just say Shanks and his incredible strength already makes this crew look incredibly scary. But now, before we dive into the rest of this incredible crew, I'd like to ask you all to consider checking out our newly launched second channel called Toonaholic, where we post everything and anything related to Western cartoons like X-Men, Ben 10, and whatever else we feel like in the moment. The link will be placed at the top of the description, so please consider coming and checking us out for yourself. But now let's get back to this video. Now up next, we got one of the most crucial roles for any crew sailing the seas. It's the Navigator. And as it stands, this was a no-brainer because there's only one Navigator of importance within the story. Nami. Nami will lead our crew around the world and back, charting everything she sees and does along the way. And not to mention, her beauty makes for a very pleasant addition to this already rough-looking crew. But now, for our crew to sail across the many deadly seas of One Piece, they would always need to remain healthy. So we'd of course need a doctor on board to care for us in our times of need. But who do we possibly take? Chopper, the trusty reindeer doctor of the Straw Hats? Doc Q, Blackbeard's medic who can heal everyone but himself? Or do we scrap both of them and we take Crocus, the Pirate King's doctor who, for all intents and purposes, kinda sucked at his job, considering his only real patient died shortly after being in his care? Well, keeping all that in mind and remembering that because this doctor would be a part of the strongest crew of all time, it would have to be someone who can not only heal almost any injury, it would also have to be someone who can fight with no real issue at all. So I decided our doctor should be none other than Law. That's right, the doctor to the most overpowered crew of all time is the man with the fruit that is the most OP of all time. A fruit that is said to have the power to make anyone immortal. But now, quickly moving on, our crew would most definitely need a full belly to sail around the world, which means they'd need a cook, a fighting cook. So who do we got that suits this role? Well, after some deliberation between Sanji and Seth, I decided to go with Lucky Roo. The fattest, I mean fastest man in the world. Because take it from me, when it comes to food, you want the fat guy preparing it. They know just what's good, because they've most likely tasted it all before. But now let's move on to another of the most important crew members on any ship. The Shipwright. The man responsible for keeping our ship in tip-top condition. And right off the bat, Frankie is most definitely a contender for this spot. Hell, he built a ship capable of flying across incredible distances in a single burst. But out of respect for the past generations, I'm gonna go with Frankie's mentor, Tom. The man who built Roger's ship, the Oro Jackson. The ship that sailed across the entire world. Like, if he's capable of helping Roger become the Pirate King, then he most definitely belongs on the greatest crew of all time. So yeah, Tom fills the Shipwright position on this insanely overpowered crew. But now, up next, we got the Sniper. And as much as I'd like to take Usopp, you know, for the memes, he just isn't strong enough for this crew as of right now. Instead, I'm gonna go with the man who I believe to be the best sniper in the entirety of One Piece at this precise moment in time. And no, it's not Usopp's dad, Yasopp. It's Fan Augur. The sniper with teleporting abilities and bullets capable of destroying Cracker's biscuits. Like, if he can do that to the same biscuits that Luffy himself struggled against, then he most definitely belongs in this overpowered crew. But now we move on to the crew's musician, and for this I was looking at Brook and Stretch Banapoo. given that they both come with strong fighting abilities and unique styles of music. But then I ultimately switched off of them both and decided to go with Uta, because her music slaps and her power is incredibly cool and visually beautiful. It'd make for the perfect addition to this already powerful and cool looking crew. Like, I can just picture her singing her incredible music on their many journeys around the world. And not to mention, Uta's addition comes with some incredible beauty that this crew was really lacking beforehand. So yeah, in my opinion, Uta is the perfect choice for this incredible crew. But now let's talk about the new guy to the crew. The rookie. The youngling with tons of energy and potential. For this spot, I thought who better than the #1 upstart pirate in all of One Piece, Monkey D. Luffy. At least that's what I was thinking at first, but then I realized just like Mihawk, he wouldn't follow anyone. So it would have to be a rookie that shows incredible potential, but also someone who would follow Joy Boy around the world. So I'm thinking instead of Luffy, let's go with his older brother Ace. Because as we all know, Ace was an incredible rookie pirate before joining Whitebeard. And he of course has some incredibly destructive power that is sure to strike fear in all of our enemies. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Ace as the rookie to this crew. But now that we've talked about all 9 of our living members, let's discuss the 10th non-living one. The one that is potentially the most crucial for any crew sailing the seas. It's the ship. Which ship could we take to house this incredibly overpowered and uncontrollable crew? Well, out of a slight bias, I was going to go with the Going Merry, because that was the first ship that we really fell in love with in the series. But then after coming back to my senses, I realized that it would have to be a ship that is not only big enough for this incredible crew, but it's also one that can handle the new world and everything that comes with it. And of course, it would have to be a ship that Tom, our shipwright, knows back to front. So that leaves us with the Oro Jackson, the Pirate King ship, that Tom built himself. A ship that was also the first ever ship to circumnavigate the entire globe. So yeah, the Oro Jackson is our cruise ship. And there you have it, the most overpowered and dangerous crew to ever sail the seas of One Piece. A crew that's ran by Joy Boy and Shanks. Like, does it get any better than that? But now I challenge all of you to come up with your own crews down below in the comments. And for fun, let's just see if you can come up with a crew that is actually strong enough to best mine. And who knows, if you manage to do so, I might actually make a video discussing it in the future. But for now, I think that's going to do it for me and this video. If you've enjoyed, then please give us a like down below, and while you're there, consider subscribing and checking out our second channel, Toonaholic, where we upload only the best cartoon content. But with that, I'm out. Have a great rest of your day, and peace.